We are at the Big Data Expo talking to Ed Wrazen from Trillium Software. At the survey that was conducted, the Big Data survey, showed that 42% of the companies had difficulties with data governance. 42%. Are you surprised by the number?
I'm not really. I mean, in our experience, we find that organizations are still struggling with data quality, data governance on traditional platforms, let alone big data platforms. And of course, big data brings more challenges in terms of more data, different types of data, different speed of access of that data as well. And of course, the volume of that data as well. So organizations, I think, are finding that some of the traditional problems that they had with their legacy data systems are now sort of coming back, but are far more complex and becoming sort of far more of a challenge. So we're seeing some hesitancy by large organizations in deploying big data until they can really sort of have some governance over that data and the quality of that data.
Okay. What kind of strategy would be needed to cover these problems?
Well, I think they do need a data governance strategy in place. The challenge is that this data is now hitting sort of their big data platforms very quickly. There's more data, different types of data. And of course that brings more problems in terms of governance and quality, access and security. So first and foremost, they do need to have some sort of governance policy in place and people responsible for overseeing, managing and monitoring the quality of that data. But also they need the appropriate tools because now we have so much data. We can't manage this manually. We have to use sort of technologies that automate a lot of the analysis, a lot of the verification, the validation and the governance over that data, and it highlights where the problems and exceptions are to the appropriate people. So yes, I think sort of governance is by far and large the biggest aspect of sort of ensuring ongoing quality of that data, and putting in place the right people, the right process and the right technologies has to be the right approach.
You wrote a blog on getting the right insights for financial institutions. What kind of solution do you propose on that front?
Well, what we're seeing is that financial institutions, retail banking, investment companies have got a wealth of data stored in multiple different systems. And typically a lot of those systems were product oriented around mortgage, around deposit accounts, loan accounts, investment accounts and so on. But they're now really wanting to get a better understanding of their customers, being able to service their customers better, provide better products, providing the right products to the right customers, and of course ensuring that they have the right compliance in place, knowing who their customers are, that they're not dealing with inappropriate individuals. There's a lot of regulation and controls being imposed on the financial services sector. So really, again, what we see is that organizations, particularly financial services organizations, are leading the charge for data governance and putting in place policies and people and creating organizations to manage the governance of their data. And that's really sort of augmented by the fact that we're seeing the Chief Data Officer. It's a new type of role, it's a very senior role, really at the top of the organization, sitting on the board, responsible for the data, because now data is very much an asset. But if it's not an asset, if it's not managed as an asset, then it can quickly become a burden and a challenge, particularly if organizations don't comply with regulations. So governance is by far and large one of the key initiatives that we're seeing within large financial institutions.
We see a lot of self-service BI going on nowadays, of course. How would you address this? Do you see this as, and the problems that go along with that concerning governance, do you see that as short-term ad hoc problems or as a structural issue?
Well, it's both really. The rise of analytics, self-service BI, visualization technology, self-service analytics technologies have now opened up a world of access to data by business users, business analysts, knowledge workers, information data stewards, who can now access the data themselves, merge it, consolidate it, and prepare it for their own visualization. The challenge there is that where is the quality process? Because typically IT, the departments in the past would manage the extraction, the transformation, the loading of data into new BI platforms. And they would do that in a very disciplined, sort of robust way. With users now accessing data themselves through self-service BI tools, we're losing that sort of quality and governance sort of process. So the tools have to be capable of providing also some data quality, some understanding of data quality, able to sort of validate the quality of the data, as well as sort of prepare, cleanse and enrich that data prior to its being used. Because very quickly what we're seeing is that those users who are using self-service BI tools becoming quite frustrated, because what they're finding is that whilst they can access the data and present it very quickly in a very sort of pretty scorecard, what they're seeing is that the results aren't what they expected. They don't match the information they had in their traditional BI or data warehouse systems, and that's because they're losing that sort of control and governance. So really, with self-service BI, we also need self-service data preparation and self-service data quality capabilities as well.
Can you tell us a bit about the offerings for Prepare and Refine, the products that you just announced?
Yes, well, Trillium Refine is the world's first combination of data preparation and data quality within a single sort of platform. So what we provide is the ability for business users, business analysts, data stewards, data analysts to access data from anywhere within their enterprise in a secure and a controlled fashion, being able to extract that data, bring it into their own environment, being able to validate and verify that data, and also enrich, consolidate and improve the quality of that data for their own visualization. So Trillium Refine is really designed to help organizations and business users in particular manage their own data through a secure, through a governed process which provides high quality sort of technology sort of backbone behind it to improve the data. And Prepare is really the first phase of that. Trillium Prepare enables organizations to access and prepare their data, consolidate it and bring it into the environment. But of course, that's not enough. We also have to improve the quality of that data, ensure it's been cleansed, it's been consolidated, it's been enriched, so we're using the best quality data better. So the combination of those two, Trillium Prepare and Trillium Quality, is really what makes Trillium Refine unique within the marketplace today.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you. For which type of users is Trillium Prepare intended? For which type of company, which type of users?
Well, it's really for any type of company that has business users, business analysts who want to access, prepare and utilize their data for their own analytics purposes. We often talk about big data, but it's not really sort of necessary to have big data. What we're seeing is that small, mid-size and large organizations have data stored in different places, in different formats, and need to sort of consolidate, merge and utilize that data. Now typically that needs to be now done by sort of business analysts and business data users. So Trillium Prepare is really designed for those types of users who have access, and speed of access is important, as well as the quality of the access to the data. It's really designed for those sort of types of users. And typically, they want access to data from multiple different sort of sources in different formats. So it tends to be the larger organizations, and we've built our solution on a big data platform merely to enable the scalability. That's to enable the scalability to the volumes required, particularly of the larger corporations. But that platform is suitable for smaller implementations as well. It doesn't have to be large-scale big data implementations, but certainly we can scale to those types of implementations if need be.
And what kind of technical, because you mentioned business users, what kind of technical skills do they need to work with the tool?
Well, not really a lot of technical skills. They don't need to sort of do any coding. The product is really sort of quite intuitive. It directs the user through a series of sort of steps. So it's very intuitive, it's very easy to learn, to use it very quickly within a half a day. So business users, data analysts, business analysts who don't really need any coding, any sort of technical skills, all they really need to do is be able to use the interface, be able to access the data and be able to extract that data. And that's all done through an intuitive, step-driven user interface.
Okay. Sounds promising.
It is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.